Hey guys, it's Sarah with AmericanTrucks.com, and today we have a review and install of the Granatelli Motorsports Hot Street Performance Coil Packs, fitting your 09 through 18 Ram 1500 with the 5.7 liter Hemi. These are perfect for the Ram owner who's looking for a performance coil pack, especially if your engine has a misfire caused by a faulty coil pack. These guys will get you firing on all cylinders again. Their design allows them to deliver more consistent spark and more volts than the factory, 65,000 volts to be exact. This should smooth out your idle, and if you have a bad coil pack already, you may see improved fuel mileage as well as throttle response with the addition of this kit. So one thing to check while you're replacing your coil packs are your spark plugs. Even if you replace a faulty coil pack, if the spark plug is also bad, you're still likely going to get a misfire. So while you're at it, it's not a bad idea to pull those and take a look. And as an added bonus, these coil packs were designed with zero-ohm resistance, meaning they will not interfere with your truck's electronics. So as far as price goes, these come in at around $625, putting them on the higher end price-wise when compared to other coil packs. And these will give you more volts than the factory, as well as save you a couple bucks over Granatelli's other options. I'm giving this install a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. They feature direct bolt-up install, which is fairly straightforward and can be done in about an hour. So with that said, let's jump into our install. For this install, you will need a 10mm socket, a small extension, a ratchet, and flathead screwdrivers. All right, so before we can do the coil packs, we do want to get the engine cover out of the way, and to do that, we need to remove this intake tube. So unplug this sensor. Grab a flathead screwdriver and loosen up the clamp holding on the intake tube to your throttle body. Grab the tube and pull it off of your throttle body. Loosen the clamp going to your intake as well. You can wiggle and remove this tube. Pull up on your engine cover and remove it. All right, grab a flathead or using your hands, pull up on this red tab again, and we're gonna remove this. All right, so the first step in our install, you're gonna grab a 10mm socket, and you may want an extension for this, and you're gonna remove the 2 bolts that hold on the coil pack. Once you take out the first bolt down the bottom, there should be a second one diagonally across it towards the top and a little farther back. There's not a ton of room in the engine bay, but should be able to get to it. Now you can grab the coil pack and pull straight out. If this doesn't want to come out, you can use a flathead. All right, so now that we've exposed this plug a little better, you can pull back on this red tab here, and if it doesn't want to go, you can just give it a little wiggle with a flathead. Once the red tab is released, press down on this top portion here and pull it loose. Now you can pull the coil pack off of the motor. All right, at this point, we're going to install this new coil pack. Now, you're welcome to pull all the old ones if you like. I just like installing them in order so that the holes for the spark plugs are open for as little amount of time as possible. We're gonna line them up with both the holes, but I wouldn't press it all the way in. I think we should attach the plug first because there's not a ton of room once you get it all the way on there. So line up the plug, press it in until it clicks, and depress the red tab. There you go. Make sure you hear that click, and then the red tab should push all the way in. That's how you know it's attached. Then go ahead and press firmly on the coil pack. You want it to have good contact with the spark plugs. If you're not sure, just make sure it sits flush against both of the bolt holes. Now you can line up the bolts. We're gonna reuse the factory bolts here. Grab your 10mm socket and tighten them down. All right, so now that you're done that coil pack, you're gonna repeat that process for the remaining 7 coil packs. Press down and pull this loose. Now you can pull the coil pack off of the truck. Now you can replace your coil pack. With the coil pack in place, grab your connector and reconnect it. All right, so with all the coil packs installed, you can replace the engine cover. Now you can install the intake tube. Grab your flathead screwdriver and tighten down the clamps. And make sure you plug back in your sensor. All right, so that is gonna do it for the review and install of these coil packs. And remember, for all things RAM, keep it at AmericanTrucks.com.